Word 4. Software with a large size. In Portuguese, we use software pesado, which translates to heavy software, but it doesn't sound right. How can I say this software has a large size when its size is over many gigabytes, for example? Is there an adjective for this in English? What are some common ways of describing software size?
In a neutral pair of phrases, you could call a piece of software lightweight at one end of the scale and resource-intensive at the other end. From the Reddit thread, least resource-intensive web browsers. What would be the least hardware-intensive web browsers these days? I am currently running Firefox 75.0, 64-bit, which is great in terms of functionality. However, it is utilizing nearly 1.1 GB of memory, which is around 80% of the total memory available on my laptop. I have only 3 tabs opened, one of them being Reddit, and a few active extensions. Komodo Ice Dragon is by far the best lightweight browser I've ever used on my Intel Atom processor Windows tablet. It has full Firefox add-on compatibility, themes, syncing, even the open tabs, and built-in ad blocker if you don't want resource-intensive add-ons. It's responsive and amazingly easy on the RAM. I have more than 13 tabs open and active at the same time right now with Ublok Origin, Nano Defender, and Decentralize running, and it's taking up around 700 MB of RAM, which is what Chrome uses for 3 tabs. Resource can be replaced by the specific resource. In the context of this question, it would be disk-intensive. If it's meant in a pejorative sense, meaning that the software size has made it take up too many resources for too little return, a common expression is bloatware. From Techipedia. Bloatware is software that has unnecessary features that use large amounts of memory and RAM. Software comes to be known as bloatware when it becomes so unwieldy that its functionality is drowned out by its useless features. This is also known as software bloat. Bloatware usually occurs as a result of feature creep. Because software is traditionally redesigned on a yearly basis, many developers feel the need to add additional functionality in order to entice users into upgrading the existing software. Unfortunately, the added features increase the size of the program and the system requirements needed to run it smoothly, eventually forcing the user to upgrade in order to run the latest software.
You can use bloated as a somewhat loaded term, which is also a bit ambiguous. It may indicate software which takes up a lot of disk space, is memory hungry, and/or works slowly. It may also suggest there are too many features, or that they are cumbersome to use. More technical, and also more specific, terms include software with a big disk, or memory, etc., footprint and resource-intensive software. On a more generic note, you can say the software is demanding, though without any context, it may not be clear if it's demanding of the computing resources or of the user.
Bloatware is a term for a piece of software that is, in the opinion of the speaker, too large. It used to be used a lot for programs like Microsoft Word that showed the user far more features than he would likely ever use, before they learn to hide those options behind user-friendly toolbars. Resource hog or memory hog might be used for a program which consumes a large part of the system's available resources, especially if this impacts other programs running on the machine. The word hog, which literally means pig, is often used in English to mean something like glutton. Or maybe you mean enterprise software? That term refers to large systems that run on servers and are used by several people throughout an organization, for example, an HR system or a manufacturing planning system. These are indeed very large software systems. If you're talking about an older enterprise system, one that may be written in an old language that is difficult to maintain, but which the organization can't do without, we call that a legacy system. Legacy systems are often monolithic, i.e., all one big piece, which makes them hard to modify.
Jason Basford suggested lightweight for one end of the scale. For the other end, I'd suggest the obvious opposite, heavyweight. That can carry connotations of size, installation, codebase, and/or UI/API, the complexity of what it does, the resources it uses, CPU, memory, storage, and/or servers, cost, level of robustness/redundancy, or even prestige/reputation. Or you could simply describe a piece of software as big. That's more specifically about aspects that can be measured, most usually the size of its installation. And in response to some of the other answers and comments, in standard English software is a mass noun, like air or bread. You can talk about some software or a piece of software, but you can't refer to a software, nor to softwares. Even though it might be more convenient to do so.
Disk hungry, storage hungry, is bulky, has a large disk footprint / storage footprint, has high storage requirements, gobbles up / eats up / requires a lot of storage space. I presume you're referring to its storage requirements, not its main memory usage.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.